Making your way through this frozen land takes everything you got.
So you're probably wondering what the hell that was. Well, you know those annoying things that pop up in between the things we love? You might know them as soul-sucking corpo vile, but they're actually called ads. And that was my answer to the question, what would a tourism ad look like for Skyrim? But not an ad for another re-release now with complimentary input lag, calling you back to its game world. No, a tourism ad for Skyrim as a destination. Because every Saw-Need adventurer needs a holiday. And come on, let's be honest, we've all asked that crazy question. What would we do in Skyrim if we visited for real? Why? Well, one, because it neatly fills 14 minutes and 34 seconds and offers a neat little sacrifice to the YouTube gods. But two, because video games are actually influencing holiday decisions. Your ear flaps may have heard of a little game called Black Myth Wukong, but they probably haven't heard that since its release, Shanxi, China has seen an unprecedented 150% surge in tourism visits. Well, of course, the big hotspots like Paris in AC Unity, Tokyo in Persona 5, or even Chernobyl in Stalker 2 have always been these magnets for holidaymakers. For the small city of Shanxi, this massive influx of tourism dollars hasn't always been the case. Until the arrival of a staff-wielding destined one, of course. This effect isn't all positive though. After Sucker Punch released the legendary Ghost of Tsushima, the actual Tsushima Island had to issue a ban on all tourism visits to Watasumi Shrine due to the massive uptick in vandalism. Suddenly, AC Shadows and its originally destructible shrines don't seem so bad now, do they? Oh, come on, break, damn you. Speaking of AC, Saudi Arabia put this digital game meets tourism theory into practice by using its usual campaign budget to fund Mirage's Valium memory expansion. While this initially sounded absolutely terrible on paper, in reality it's been one of the most refreshing additions to the series in a long time, thanks to an actual emotional story and updated parkour that finally gives players back the ability to jump. Oh, genius. Of course, its positive reception was probably in part because it was free, but honestly, the DLC's reference to real landmarks and historic hotspots were pretty respectfully done. It didn't even feel like you were being sold to at all. Which is the perfect time to talk about this video's sponsor, Todd Howard's Chest Hair. The all-in-one solution for your bare-chested needs, offering 12 hours of battery life and 16 times the detail, so use the code below to claim a month's free trial for yourself. See? I told you ads are annoying. Gaming and tourism is this perfect fit, but what about our favourite gaming locations that aren't real places? Night City, Hollow Nest, Hyrule, Skyrim? Sure, you could just visit Norway or Iceland, but you don't just want any old Skyrim like, you want the real Skyrim. In my day-to-day, swordless real life, I work in advertising, and I've created some interesting stuff. And now, on behalf of the Tamriel Tourism Board, or TDB, I want to sell you on a holiday to Skyrim. But before we can craft our campaign, we need a brief. Sure, this looks pretty boring right now, but we are going to fill this bad boy in, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's still going to be pretty boring. Our first step is the proof points, our reasons to believe, because before you can sell anything, you need to know what you are selling.
It's about adventure, taking you someplace where you've never been. Blah, 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 blah.
So how do we frame Skyrim as a place worth waking up for when the tourists cross the border? A tourism destination needs 4 things to make it a hit. Things to do, unique cuisine, places to stay, and transport. But before we can do any of this, we need to address the giant in the room. Skyrim equals death. Paralyzing weather conditions, a civil war, and of course, those nasty dragons. So first, we've got to do some damage control and flip these into positives.
If you don't like what is being said, change the conversation.
Let's reframe that pesky civil war as simply your local rivalry. Let's encourage visitors to playfully pick a side upon entry and bandwagon the Stormcloaks or the Imperials. Maybe we could sell some merch, just like choosing a local football team rather than a bloodbath. We promise anyway. For the adventurous, we'll reframe the Wyvern infestation by offering dragon watching tours. Kind of like whale watching, but way more dramatic. The bitter cold? Let's use that risk of frostbite and highlight Skyrim's warm, cozy taverns, epic northern lights, and its friendly, warm, emotionally indifferent local hospitality.
What are you gonna do? Cry?
So for ticking our things to do box, let's also flip the Norse warring and sometimes dangerous factions into once-in-a-lifetime experiences. Stealth archery lessons with the Dark Brotherhood, minus Cicero, he's too creepy. Pickpocketing classes in Riften. catch a live performance at the Bard College, or take a mage course at Winterhold. For the history buffs, there's Daedric Prince guided walking tours. Oh, check out that view! For the outdoorsy type, there's the Throat of the World hiking trail with the 7,000 step challenge to High Hrothgar. You can even catch a daily beheading performance in Solitude, or just kill Nazim. No, seriously, no, do it. Next on the tourism menu is of course food, and lucky for us, Skyrim's palate is already strongly skewed towards warm comfort food that complements its harsh environment. From rich hearty hawker stews to succulent boar legs, skeever tails and hawker loaf, these tasty morsels are your bowel's worst nightmare. You can wash it down with a Blackbriar mead or an Alto wine, and then finish the night with a theft-worthy pastry treat like the humble sweet roll, or even some goat's cheese for the daring, maybe some mammoth cheese which can be served as a rich elsewhere fondue. Availability-wise, these dishes can be explored at the numerous inns and taverns, or tourists can just get their own with a trusty locksmith, really. These inns also handily tick our next box. Lodging. The icy tundras have no shortage of comfortable beds extending from the main settlements to far-off countryside escapes. Just don't book yourself a stone bed and you'll be fine. There's the Bannered Mare in the heart of Whiterun, the Bee and the Bar for some lakeside charm, Nightgate Inn, your remote snowfield escape, and even High Hrothgar Monastery for silent meditation retreats. Or alternatively, visitors can book an Airbnb and claim your own local home to soak up that Skyrim atmosphere. Breathe in the lakeside air at Lakeview Manor, kick back at Honeyside and Riften, or go large and book the entire Hendreheim Hall, perfect for bucks parties. And last but not least, transport. And thank God for horse-drawn carriages, because without them, the many cults, giants and Thalmor would just have a tourist field day. Of course, that's not to say carriages are completely safe.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Next up is our strategy. Before ideation can even begin, every global advertising agency starts at the strat, the roadmap of how we're going to target our audience and get them to push that book button. Our strategy often culminates with the holy SMP, the single-minded proposition, that you'll use to bounce ideas off before the creative director or client tells you you're an absolute idiot. Advertising, kids, try it out. The SMP is basically a single sentence that encapsulates your unique selling point. In Skyrim's case, the reason it has endured a consistent player base for over 15 years is its variety on offer. It truly has something for everyone. And given this is Skyrim's first foray into tourism, it makes sense to target its established audience to draw them in first for others to follow. But with over 60 million sales of Skyrim, the icy tundras as your next winter getaway is basically a success already. Of course, adjusting for the fact that each player has probably bought about 3 to 4 copies each, probably brings that total down to about 1 million, but that's still quite a lot to kick us off. We also know that these players have spent a lot of hours in Tamriel's North, and we know that for many of us, a yearly Skyrim playthrough is like this crusty old comfort blanket we throw on when we need it. So rather than selling our audience on something new, let's offer them a familiar place they'd love to revisit. Which brings us to our SMP, Skyrim is like coming home. There it is, our proof points, our target audience, our strat, and our prop. From here, we break into small teams, usually a copywriter or an art director. 2 minds, one whose strength is words and the other whose is visuals. And with their combined power, they'll create numerous ideas like Skyrim got dragons.
What else you got?
Okay, yes, some of these ideas will be wrong, but then there'll be ones like Skyrim mine the frostbite spiders.
Monkeys can do this.
Okay, most will be wrong, but then some ideas will feel too small, like come for the scenery, stay for the sweet rolls. Or too big and overpromise. Skyrim, just do it. And then after what will feel like endless creative and client reviews that will suck the very life out of you and beg you to question your very existence, you will settle on the perfect solution, the one that magically ticks all 1,200 boxes that the brief and client have made you jump through. Skyrim, where everybody shouts your name. Just like our SMP, we position Skyrim as a warm, cozy place, even though it's not, and reinforce its welcoming nature, which it isn't. Where every NPC is your friend. Oh, they're definitely not your friend. And we tie this all up by re-recording the lyrics to the perfect iconic tune all about welcoming you home. The Cheers theme song, Thank You Ted Danson, giving us our campaign jingle. So there are a few options producing this song. I mean, option 1 is AI, but that kind of sucks. So option 2 was me recording it, and I tried that, but it was pretty awful. Or 3, outsource. And thanks to 2 kind souls from my last video, I was gifted some funds. So instead of responsibly and intelligently saving and investing that money for guaranteed returns, I'm going to use it to invest in a medium with abysmal ROI and no guarantee of return, and fund a singer to record our new campaign soundtrack. So without any ado, well actually quite a bit of ado, I give you the Tamriel Tourism Board Visit Skyrim campaign.
Making your way through this frozen land takes everything you got. Slaying some Draugr in ancient tombs only to be encumbered on the spot. Wouldn't you like to take a break? Sometimes you wanna go where every Nord shouts your name, and the Stormcloaks toast your fame. You wanna go where the guards will say, hey, I used to be you till the Nero came. You wanna be where everybody shouts your name. You ride through towns on your trusty steed, from Whiterun to Solstheim. Get caught in plots and Daedric schemes, still somehow you find the time to face Alduin and save the world. Sometimes you wanna go where every Nord shouts your name, and the Stormcloaks toast your fame. You wanna go where the guards still say, hey, I used to be you till the Nero came. You wanna be where everybody shouts your name. You wanna go where the guards still say, hey, I used to be you till the Nero came. You wanna be where everybody shouts your name.
There's this quote by Dave Grohl that goes, "The great thing about music is you can sing a song to 85,000 people and they'll sing it back to you for 85,000 different reasons." And it surprises me that no one's ever said the same thing about video games. Whether based on real locations that we've experienced IRL or an imaginary one that comes alive in pixel form and in our minds, we all have our own unique individual reason why we love to return again and again to these worlds. And Skyrim even more so. Thanks to mods, every player has their own version of Skyrim to call their own. And as a peasant console player, I can tell you I have stretched every kilobyte of that 5 gig limit to make Skyrim my perfect version of the game. So imagine that. 60 million plus copies sold, and 60 million plus versions of Skyrim that each player calls their own. This is going to be a very unpopular opinion, but for now anyway, I'm in no rush for Elder Scrolls 6. Let it release when it releases, when it's ready, because it means we get just a little bit longer for Skyrim to remain that place. Without the influx of comparison videos about whether 6 is better than 5, without endless Reddit threads claiming the magic is gone or Skyrim was never good to begin with, just a little longer to go where every Nord shouts your name.
We also talked about a deeper bond with the product. Nostalgia. It's delicate, but potent. It's a twinge in your heart, far more powerful than memory alone. This device isn't a spaceship. It's a time machine. It goes backwards and forwards. It takes us to a place where we ache to go again.
big thank you for anyone still watching at this point, because honestly, it means the world. But the biggest thanks goes to my awesome team of channel supporters who I can't believe actually support this channel, but this vid and future vids just wouldn't happen without them. So yeah, you guys are the true heroes.